Hello, friends. I'm especially speaking to believers, to Christian believers in Jesus Christ. And what I want to say today is that there's a lot of misunderstanding about an epidemic we have called gluttony, obesity, gluttony. They go hand in hand. Unlike one of my dear friends believe that he is clearly obese because he knows he's carrying over 100 pounds of weight around every day, and it's hard to get around, but he's in complete denial that, excuse me, that he's uh, a glutton. He's a glutton, and the reason why I know is because the the stored extra energy that you're carrying around in your body doesn't get there like by magic. It doesn't get there because you have a bad thyroid or because you have bad genetics or because you have a bad metabolism or because you have some kind of disease. It gets there because you consume too much energy, and that's how it's stored. It's actually stored on your body. And so the answers to these things are that energy is designed by God to be used by activity. So you only take in as much as you need. And I wanted to give you some powerful definitions. The definition of fitness is the capacity for work. The definition of work is the capacity or the operation of serving. So work is serving. God calls us to serve Him, and one of the primary ways we serve God is by serving each other. The way we serve each other is called work. So when I wake up in the morning and I go to work, I'm going to work to serve my wife, who works at home. She's working in the home to serve myself and our children. I'm working outside the house to bring home value. They call it money, to be able to transfer it to things like shelter, food, clothing, and all these things. So I'm working to serve and provide for my children and my wife and for others. I keep myself fit so I could also be a protector of my wife and my children. So fitness is simply the capacity for work. Oh, gluttony is simply taking in more energy than you need. It's like hoarding. I'm hoarding up energy and I'm carrying it around on my body. So I'm 60 years old, and so now I'm carrying around groceries that I ate 20 years ago, 50 years ago, 40 years ago. No, that's not, I choose not to do that, so I don't do that. But it's not an identity, being fat. I'm not a fat person. There's not a fat person. We're all the same. If I consume more energy than I need, then guess what? My body's going to store that energy. And the same with you and everyone else. So when you see someone who's what we call carrying too much weight, they're fat or whatever, we're talking about body fat. And what body fat is just simply energy. They've consumed too much energy. There's a lot of lies out there. People lie to themselves, lie to each other. And there's tons of information about lying, that you have a bad thyroid, you have a bad genetics, you have a certain body type or whatever. Because I know, because I eat really healthy. You should see me. I eat salads all the time. Well, whatever you're eating, if you have too much energy stored in your body, you're consuming too much. So you need to eat less, consume less energy, so that your body could then start tapping into those reserves that you stored inside your body and use up that energy. And the other thing, last thing, is I want to go back to fitness. Fitness is, what my definition of fitness is, the capacity for work. The definition of work is serving one another. So fitness is the capacity to serve one another. I cannot protect or I cannot work to earn an income for my family, and I cannot protect and serve others. I cannot help my neighbor when he says, this actually happened. Hey, Pat, look, I cut my head open. Could you stitch it up for me? Well, hold on a second. I've taken in far too much energy over the years, so I can't hardly move. So no, I can't run and get stitches. I can't stop the bleeding. I can't help you, friend, neighbor. I can't serve you when you cut your head open or whatever, because I'm too fat, because I have a bad thyroid or whatever. It's all not true. Everyone has the ability to live a life in such a way that they are fit, physically fit, so that they could serve one another. They have a capacity for work, a capacity for service. That's what fitness is. So if somebody is highly fit, like let's say an elite fitness level, they have a greater capacity for work. This is a very powerful definition you need to understand. If I am extremely fit, let's say I could run 10 miles at a 6-minute mile pace, and I could lift my own body weight over my head, bench press, I could squat, 300 pounds and deadlift over 300 pounds or something. If I have an extreme level of fitness, I have an extreme capacity for work, to fight, to protect, to work hard and do physical labor, to help people, to even carry my wife to bed. Hopefully, if she's not 400 pounds, I couldn't carry her. So fitness is a capacity for work. It's a capacity for service. I would encourage more of my Christian friends to consider discovering and learning about what fitness is and choosing that so that they could then live the life that they feel so strongly they desperately or greatly desire to live. Like there's a lot of men who are addicted to pornography and addicted to food. So therefore, guess what? They're alone. They're in their 40s, they're still alone. They're in their 50s, they're still alone. They're in their 60s and now 70s, and they're still alone because they can never get married because they're a woman instinctively is attracted to a man who has a capacity to serve, protect, and love them in a practical, physical way. So consider fitness if you want to know more about what fitness is, because anybody who is alive could attain it. Then reach out to me. I'd love to help people. Thanks for listening this far.